morning, Lionhearts. It's your old pal, Jordan the Lion. Well, as I told you yesterday, I had some concerns that our trip to the Norman Petty alumni reunion were going to be foiled, and they are. I exchanged emails, and even though I was invited and everything, basically what they came back and said was that they're trying to use this to film a documentary, and that in order for me to film anything on my camera, I would have to get written permission from every single person in attendance for their privacy. So that's not going to happen. So what I decided to do is, since I had already arranged this trip, I had already put everything into motion for the time that I was going to be gone, I decided I'm going to do it anyway. However, instead of going all the way to where Clovis is, I have rerouted us and we're going to do a completely different road trip. It will still include about half the stops that we were going to do on that trip, but we're just going to do other things that I've really wanted to do for a while, and I just haven't found the time to do it. So we're going to do it now. And not only now, but today. We're going to start it today. Daze with Jordan the Lion, road trip time. Let's go. Begins now. All right, I'm just getting all my stuff in order. I'm going to drink a cup of coffee and then head out. All right, my friends, so where our detour is taking us today on this road trip is we're gonna head about 3 hours away to a place I've never been to. Yes, it's the home of the wrestler, The Undertaker. We are going to Death Valley. We're gonna find one of the more elusive hidden gems out there that a lot of people have come looking for before me. Some have found, some have not. I hope we find it today. I think you'll love this. Stopping off to get some gas. You think you have life rough. Look at what I'm paying for gas per gallon. So what we're gonna see today, I think, is a really, really cool landmark, and it's something that you probably have seen if you're a fan of the band U2. Now, John Mayer once said something, and I think it's very poignant, and it definitely falls into this situation today with me. He said that he doesn't believe that just because you don't like something, that you won't ever like it. And he gave the Grateful Dead as one of those examples for him. He said, I never liked the Grateful Dead. And then I got into my late 30s and 40s and was losing interest in playing music, and I discovered the Grateful Dead, and then all of a sudden I got their music. I understood it, I liked what I was hearing. And so sometimes just because you don't like something at one point doesn't mean that your taste won't change and that you won't like it at another time. I never was a U2 fan, and then years ago when they were doing a song for the Super Bowl, they were filming a music video, and I got cast as an extra to be in that music video. And having to hear that song all day for like 2 days, for like 10 hours a day, I ended up really liking the band. And so now I am a U2 fan, and so what we're gonna see today is actually pretty thrilling. I think I would have enjoyed it even if I wasn't a U2 fan, but knowing that what we're gonna see today is so iconic, I'm really excited to actually get to see this. There's the sign for Mojave. Wow, take a look at the beautiful red rocks. Well, I don't know if I can pass up a look at a free ghost town. Well, it's called Robbers Roost. Let's check it out. Okay, here's the beginning of our ghost town. You can see the sign right there that says ghost town. And it says, help Robbers Roost economy, buy something, buy anything. Here we've got our little miniature boot hill. Here's a sign for our saloon. It looks like we have a mine shaft over here as well. See that watcher step? Then over here, looks like we've got the house with the picket fence, literally. See, it says house, there it says picket fence. Good style washer out here. Yikes. There's some art on the walls. Alright, let's move along. Here's our saloon. Called the Gallows. Looks like it's all locked up though. Now they have a little convenience store here on the premises, but it's closed for remodeling. Here we've got our bank, our sheriff's department, and our jail. Let's go take a look in there. Roscoe Green, governor of Whiskey Flat. Here's our bank, our night deposit. A lot of people have written their names here on the glass. Let's see what's back here. It says boardroom for boards. Let's look around the jail. See the box of keys in there, jail keys. Here I sit in this rotten jail. My old lady can go to hell. My heart is full of sorrow. I hope I get out tomorrow. Roscoe's Rusty Relics. Let's go take a look inside the jail. No keys. Somebody done took them all. There's a toilet, half of a person. There's the other half of the person. I know, but we've already seen the bank. We haven't seen this yet though. Phone booth. Lots of phones. Somebody stole the children's phone. The emergency phone's gone. Long distance. Great. That's for local calls. And then let's see what's in Cowboy Tower. Not too much. In fact, somebody even stole the fish off there. Left the top of the pickaxe. See what's in Black Rock Garden. An old video camera. Some old National Geographic. Oh, it's a beauty parlor. And in here we have some old briefcase type stuff, some old electronics. There's crap in all of those drawers. Even though this wasn't the final destination for today, this was a pretty cool stop. I'm glad that I drove past it. Oh, and here's the wishing well. Wishes 25 cents each or 5 for $1. And there's a bucket right here. And then drop your money in here. Alright my friends, let's hit the road. Even though this was a fun stop, we still have not found what we are looking for. Yeah, did you like that pun? Still haven't found what I'm looking for. If you still don't get it, you'll get it when we get out there. Take it easy, Robber's Roost. I think we're about 30 minutes away. Now what I have to go on is that I know what we're looking for is off the side of the road on the 190, and I know that there is a little turnoff big enough for a car, so I'm looking for those two things. And from what I see online, it's not quite to Death Valley, so if we start seeing signs saying we're in Death Valley, we probably went too far. I just saw this little art display off to the side of the road. I gotta show you guys. His name's Ego. And if you look over here, there are a lot more figures over there. Here we have some jumping rope. And look at this guy. Looks like he's being attacked by monkeys or something. Somebody put in all the effort to make this thing. We should at least check it out. Is that the Pope? What's going on back here? Wow, these are great. Oh, it looks like she's hitchhiking. Got the thumb out. Yeah, traveling. Got like a big wrench for a necklace. Bags are packed. He's got 2 buckets in his hands, say give and take. There's like water in there, some literature. There's nothing to take. Give, take. Put something in the give container, then retrieve something from the take container. And it looks like these are the last couple little sculptures out here. Definitely a cool little stop though. All right, we are super close. I can't not stop and see things like this, but I do want to get there. Let's go. All right, there's our turnoff, the 190. When I told my sister I was coming out towards Death Valley, she said, do you remember when we were kids and our papaw used to always tell us what the weather was gonna be like in Death Valley that day at breakfast? I said, yep, I do. Now if you'll take a look, you'll notice there aren't a whole lot of trees out here. I'm not sure if that point of interest is our point of interest, but we're getting very, very close. I think what we're looking for is right out this direction. Have you guys figured it out yet? So what we're looking for today is, even though it died about 20 years ago, the remnants of it are still here. The skeleton of it are still here. The Joshua tree that the band U2 used for the artwork on their Joshua Tree album. Originally what they took out here was supposed to be the front cover, and they actually took about a week driving around out in Mojave looking for various places, and eventually decided they wanted to find one lone Joshua tree. They found it out here. Now the album itself was really iconic because it was kind of a departure in the style of what U2 was doing, and it broke them so hard at the time that this was what propelled them into doing stadium and arena type shows. Actually pushed them to being the largest band in the world. And where they got the title from was Anton Corbin, the photographer who was out here with the band. He told them that, you know, the album was supposed to be kind of a story about America, the idea of America from an Irishman's perspective, and the fact that America is not so much a country, but it's an ideal and an idea that people all over the world hold on to. And so when they were out traveling around, Anton told Bono that the Joshua tree had its name coming from the Mormon thought that it looked like Prophet Joshua raising his hands in prayer. Bono liked that and decided he wanted to call the album Joshua Tree and agreed that they should put one on the cover. So they started their photo shoot up in Reno and worked their way down to Bodie Ghost Town, took photos there, and then came through Death Valley, and actually Joshua Tree itself taking photos at a motel there. But they actually stopped out here because Anton said, I think having the band photographed with just one Joshua Tree might have this solitude. It might give the ambiance of what the band wants the album to feel like a little bit better visual. So they took it out here. Now, of course, this album has the classics. With or Without You, Where the Streets Have No Name, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And what's pretty interesting about it to me is that it's went down as one of the greatest rock and roll albums of all time, and Bono considers it an unfinished album. He said, my lyrics were kind of an outline of what I wanted them to be, and I never really fixed them. So a lot of the songs they didn't necessarily think would be classics. In fact, they said they almost didn't even use With or Without You, not because they didn't like the song, but they couldn't get an arrangement they were happy with. And Edge said finally a friend of theirs mailed him a guitar that the guy built himself, and that guitar, when you held a note down, it made it sound like a keyboard. And so he was doinking around with that, and the band just happened to be playing the track for With or Without You, not being happy with it, and hearing Edge playing that guitar, that's where they came up with the idea for that subtle intro. And you know, that's one of their greatest songs, if not maybe their greatest song. Now, where they took this photo was not right directly off to the side of the road. I mean, it is, but it's still a good 5-minute walk. So I think I see a pile of stuff over here, and I know that fans leave guitars and mementos out here, so I think that must be it. Now, in the photo shoot, the band looks somewhat serious, and they didn't necessarily want that. That's not what they were going for, but when they came out here to do the photo shoot, for the lighting and everything, they were trying to do early in the day or late in the day, and it was really cold out here. So the band had to take their jackets and everything off, and they said that's why they look so serious, because they were trying not to look like they were freezing, and they didn't want to wear jackets because they wanted that vibe of the desert. So one of the happy accidents that I think was a blessing in disguise was that the photographer Anton had rented a panoramic camera to capture the landscape, but he didn't really know how to use it that well, so he wasn't able to focus it. So when he did the photos, a lot of the background came out very focused, but the band came out a little unfocused. But he said it turned out to be a good thing in the end, because it was so light out the time they did it, the band was still able to be seen pretty well. There it is. Do you see it? Sadly, it died of natural causes in the early 2000s, like I mentioned, and it's just out here decaying. I mean, what can you do? It's you can see people have tried to leave messages out here, but one super fan, and I love that he did this, made this, and I believe he said he couldn't afford to have one of these made, so he got a job where he made these and then he made it and brought it out here. You can see there's the Joshua Tree there, and then here it says, have you found what you're looking for? Yes, we have. And there's that poor tree. You can see there's a YouTube briefcase out here. A couple of them, actually. Here's the tree. People leave guitars, you can see. So, since it's fallen over this way, you can see how sad, man. That is an iconic piece of art. Like I said, they wanted to use the Joshua Tree itself, but there was a marketing decision made where they decided they wanted the photo of the band in front of Zabriskie Point. 30th anniversary. U2 fan club from Brazil. Brazilians found what they were looking for. They said fans, of course, chip away a little part of the tree every time they come out here, usually to have a little memento. Bono said that he was such a fan of the principles and the ideals that this country was founded upon. That was really what inspired this album. And he said that, you know, he really heavily believed everything that was at the base of the Statue of Liberty and really lived by that. So that was what he was trying to capture in this album. And sadly, later on when they would fight for Martin Luther King Day to stick around, they went and played a show in Arizona and they had death threats. And basically the death threat said, if you play Pride in the Name of Love, you will be assassinated. And you know, that was the late 80s. They didn't do the metal detectors and everything then, and the police told him, hey, we think this is a serious threat. And Bono said, we're not gonna let something like that dictate our show. And so he said, when we got to the part, you know, where I was singing and I knew if it's ever gonna happen, it's gonna happen now. He knelt down, and as he sang the song, he said, I opened my eyes. I'd closed my eyes for a little bit, and when I opened them, Adam, the bass player, was standing over me heroically as though like, hey, if there's gonna be a shot, I'm taking the shot. You know, I'm gonna take it for you. Wow, so cool to see this. You can see they have, I'm noticing there's a couple of boxes out here too. You can write a note. And that's what the tree originally looked like. Write only in the notebooks, because Bono does come and read them. The best thing to take from here is a memory. Please treat this site with the same respect that your mom's gravesite would expect. Thank you, all U2 fans and the band. Now that's really interesting. It looks like this woman's ashes were scattered here. I'm really glad we made the pilgrimage out here. Someday this will erode, or there will be a fire and it will burn all this up, and that tree will not be here anymore to be seen. And we got to see it. And yes, we did find what we were looking for. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it a day. I wanna thank Ann Santos and Serena Marlowe for making contributions to my channel. Hope you enjoyed today's start to our road trip. I think this was the perfect way to start it. Go listen to Joshua Tree, it's a great album. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you all from somewhere else. Goodbye.